We can pinpoint key differences in design and performance between Apple's iPhone 14 Pro and Samsung's Galaxy S23 Ultra, but they share something in common. Both companies promote these top-of-the-line phones as having amazing, high-quality cameras. One of the biggest ways the iPhone 14 Pro differs from last year's 13 Pro, for example, is in its new camera system. Apple's new premium iPhone has a high-resolution 48-megapixel main sensor and other improvements like the photonic engine, which is a new technique that applies Apple's deep fusion processing to images earlier for better detail. When Samsung unveiled the Galaxy S23 Ultra in February, it highlighted the 200-megapixel main camera as a major area of focus, particularly the S23 Ultra's improved low-light photography. In practice, both phones take impressive photos that are rich with color and detail. As for which one is better, the answer is somewhat subjective and may come down to whether you prefer the way Apple or Samsung processes photos. But in my experience, Apple's iPhone 14 Pro generally does a better job of producing well-balanced images, while Samsung has a much closer zoom that can't be matched. To test the cameras on both phones, I took the same images side by side under various lighting scenarios, ranging from bright outdoor sunlight to dim indoor environments with very little or no light. If you're shooting photos in outdoor sunlight, you can rest assured that both the iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S23 Ultra are capable of capturing excellent photos. In the photo samples below, Samsung's photo is brighter, but Apple's has more detail and contrast in the pebbles and glass shards on the shore. iPhone 14 Pro versus Galaxy S23 Ultra Zoom. The iPhone 14 Pro can zoom up to 3 times optically and 15 times digitally, while the Galaxy S23 Ultra has an optical zoom of 3x or 10x and can also zoom digitally up to 100 times. I used the maximum zoom level on each phone to get a sense of how much their range differs, as you can see in the photos. There's no question that Samsung can achieve a significantly closer zoom than Apple, although it's not very sharp and it's very hard to focus when zooming in at 100x. Using the Galaxy S23 Ultra's 100x zoom doesn't seem very practical, unless you really need to see something that's very far away and don't necessarily care about image quality. iPhone 14 Pro versus Galaxy S23 Ultra Night Mode. Both phones are capable of taking relatively bright photos in low-light circumstances, but Samsung's photo is much more detailed, even though the iPhone's picture is a bit brighter. The iPhone 14 Pro's photo is softer and lacks the detail and clarity in the cat's fur that you get in the Galaxy S23 Ultra's image. iPhone 14 Pro versus Galaxy S23 Ultra Ultra-Wide. The iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S23 Ultra each have a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera, with a 120-degree field of view. Both cameras captured crisp detail and color when photographing a sidewalk mural, as shown below. But the iPhone 14 Pro did a better. The iPhone 14 Pro's photo feels more balanced, and there's a good amount of contrast between sky and trees. Samsung's photo, on the other hand, looks a bit washed out. However, this is the only photo where this type of lens flare was very noticeable. iPhone 14 Pro versus Galaxy S23 Ultra. The bottom line. Both the iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S23 Ultra are capable of taking sharp, colorful photos, but they succeed in different areas, and which one is best for you will depend on your priorities and shooting style. Each phone excelled at taking photos in ideal lighting outdoors. I preferred the iPhone 14 Pro's camera when shooting ultra-wide landscape shots and portrait mode photos. The Samsung, on the other hand, is capable of a much closer zoom than the iPhone, and I also thought the Galaxy S23 Ultra captured better photos in challenging lighting conditions, both indoors and outside. Thank you for watching.